So here's what we got today. An XF panel van. She's clearly been sitting here for a while, but it doesn't look too bad. Yeah, I might change that. It doesn't look too bad, or doesn't look too bad on the outside. 242, 871. Just brand new with air. See one little busted window there. Oh, she's the deluxe model with the mouse and rat poop carpet. Excellent. Oh, all the modern conveniences. They'll come in handy. Oh yep, they're even the right one for the car. Column shifter. She's got some pretty functional racks. And the moss, that's functional. Oh, bit of a shame. Got a dent there. That wasn't even latched. I wondered why it opened so easy, because it wasn't latched. Ooh, yuck. Oh, there's more on that side, but that's okay. As long as it's symmetrical. A little bit down that side, we'll stop looking in there. Another little love tap. Oh, a little bit of a hole, but it'll be okay. It had to have one broken door handle, didn't it? Wouldn't be an X, D, E or F if it didn't have a broken door handle. Yep, power steering. So she's air and steer. It's all there. It's all shitty, but it's all there. Can I get an idea of age? How old's the battery? Nah, I can't see where it's stamped. They didn't stamp it. Oop, now the bonnet's going to take my head off. Righto, I'm a bit pressed for time today because we've got 3 to get out of here, so let's get him hitched up and get on the road. What's all the stickers on the roof though? Not on the roof. Granville TAFE College. There you go. 2000, well she was on the road in 2005. The screen's alright. Little bit of rust there too, I didn't notice that. Over that far side. These were bad for plenum rust, so we'll see what those floors are like when I get that carpet out. Righto, let's hitch him up. It's not enjoying that at all. It's out of park and handbrake's off because something's locked on. So we're home and off the trailer. But intrigued me all the way home is these stickers. Was it owned by a TAFE college? Granville College TAFE. So I'm sort of hoping there's something. Forgotten that already. Yeah. This one's going to be trying, to say the least. Anyway, nothing we haven't seen before, no doubt. At least we've got some books. And another rat nest or something in there. That's excellent. Thomas Ford, Church Street, Parramatta. Philips radio, so she's still got the factory radio. Come here. Got a couple of services filled out. Fit new what? Oh, disc pads. Replace wheel bearings, machine disc brakes. When was that? '89. And then they haven't filled out anything else. Anyhow, who owned it? Oh, that is way better than a school police department. So what's this one's name? Constable? I just got to remember not to abbreviate that. Or Sarge. Maybe Sarge. I think I'd get myself in trouble if I started calling it Constable. Righto, Sarge. Let's start from the start. Get this bonnet up and see what we can't figure out. Oh, my strut's completely shut now. That held it up for once. Hang on, I'll get a stick. So I've already started a parts list. Bonnet strut. Ironically, it worked once when I first opened the bonnet, but I'd say it's blown the seal out the minute I opened it. Well, it's complete. Being complete with the air cleaner on gives me a little bit of comfort. It's not that bad, I suppose. It's got oil, but it's as black as anything. What's that? Strange, because there's another one. Whatever the hell they are. So I guess first thing I want to do is knock the air cleaner off, of course, and maybe whip those plugs out, just see if we can dribble a bit of WD down there or something, and then get him to roll over. I don't know if I'll get on that balancer bolt. I might be able to come off the alternator bolt. The first thing I really want to do is get rid of that disgusting bonnet thing. Oh, I just figured out what they are. Look, they've made brackets to hold that up. I actually think I am going to remove that first. That's creeping me out. Let me get rid of it. I can't deal with it. Yeah, that's right. All of this, and that's the bit I can't deal with. Weirdo. Ugh. Shit everywhere. Oh, that's much better already. That's where the mice lived, in there. I can taste the Hendra virus already. Ugh. Hendra? Hantavirus? Whatever that virus is, I can taste it. I already feel better about this vehicle now. I don't know why I'm doing it this side. I want to get in here, not over there. have no reason to think this firing order is wrong. It doesn't look like it's been messed with. The fact the air cleaner's still on, you know what I mean? Like if somebody's been tinkering with stuff, maybe the air cleaner's off or the distributor's out or something like that. So I will check the firing order, and generally they'll have it on the intake manifold like that. As I label them and pull them down, I guess we can have a look at that. Yeah, plugs out, WD in, and figure out how I'm going to wrench on that. So I guess I'm just tracing, say, cylinder 1. So that's going to be our cylinder 1 there. So that next guy is that cable there. That should go to 5. And it does. Next one's 3. Well, 3 of them are right, so I'm going to go, yep, they're right. So I'll pull them off and get into those plugs. Yeah, that's right. I stopped with only checking 3, but that's all that's probably going to run anyway, so it'll be fine. With the length of these leads and the way they're sitting, I don't think you could really get it wrong, but I'm guaranteeing you I would. It'll be the one thing you go, I can't get that wrong, and then you'd mess it up deluxe. So we'll just label them. That one's got a fair bit of oil around it. We have a rocket cover leak. It's very black, so I'd say it's been leaking for a long time. And that oil is terrible. It's black as, so toward the end of this thing's life, somebody wasn't looking after it. It'll be right, Sarge. We'll get you going again. What would the police department use a panel van for? It's not like it's a paddy wagon. There's no cage in the back, or what the hell would they use a panel van for? Going to the beach at lunchtime? I don't know. Dogs? Dog? Would they have a dog? No, you'd have a cage in it, wouldn't you? Just cruising around and looking cool. That'd work. I kind of like the panel vans of the early 80s, late 70s stuff. You know, the Valiant had the Drifter, the Ford had the Sundowner, and then of course the Sandman. Everyone knows the Sandman. Probably the most famous of the panel vans. All the wiring looks intact, like nothing's hanging off it or anything. Oh! Did I say it hadn't been serviced much and there was a bit of oil around it? That is a very protruding electrode, isn't it? It's very out there. But it's oily. She might have been parked because she was blowing a bit of smoke and the police didn't like that. Defected themselves. She mustn't have stayed in the police department for long if in 2000 it had a Granville College TAFE sticker on the windscreen. How old would it have been then? 2013. It's an 87, isn't it? 87? '88. December '88. She's new. It's way newer than I thought. But didn't that say it had discs in that in '89? 89. The old disc didn't last long. Cops were hard on her. That one's not much better. Oily looking. You know when you get that sinking feeling that you might have done the wrong thing? Spark plugs don't just get like that. Something hits them and makes them like that. This episode might be a short one, like a really short one. So what hits the spark plug? Can't be the piston. So what's been in that cylinder bouncing around? Again, oil. So they're all oily, they're all consistently oily, but we've got something has hit one of them. Unless somebody's dropped the plug when they put them in, but they look terrible. So it's not like they were just put in. There is actually a gap. There's a tiny, tiny gap. So it could have been running like that. Maybe that's it. Maybe it was dropped, putting it in on its last service, and then it ran, but ran poorly. It would have been borderline of one cylinder down its whole existence after that last plug change. And I can tell you, it hasn't had a service in a long time, so yeah, they're all equally crap. The stupid bit is now I'm going to take the air cleaner off after I just fought both sides of that air cleaner tube to get the plugs out. Yeah, good one. Do it back to front. That's the spirit. Well, she's nice and clean-ish. It's not filthy and black. That air filter doesn't look that bad. Anyway, I'm going to take the whole air cleaner off. I haven't had much success with these carburetors. I had one not that many episodes ago and it fought me like all hell, so I guess I'm ready for that. But I'll get this body off. It's just those few screws there around that carby and we'll lift him off. That's not stock. Maybe somebody has mucked with it. Why I say that's not stock is that's a nylock nut. I thought they had a threaded rod, but actually the nut was part of the thread. And that's what it was like on my last XF, and I had an XE. I thought they were all like that actually. Anyway, geez, that's concentrating on the big issues, isn't it? Nope, it's insignificant is what that is, Michael. Concentrating on not dropping a small bolt down the carburetor throat would be a better way to spend your time. I've got lines going everywhere. Come on, give it to me. Give it. Give it. Oh, thank you. This was the start of the real pollution-y type era. There's vacuum lines everywhere. We'll ignore it and just see if we can get him to turn over. Bit of WD and we'll turn him over. Pollution gear went crazy around the late 80s. Hopefully she'll... I reckon I can go off that alternator if I can tighten that belt enough. I'm just going to grab that bolt there on the alternator and just try and put some tension on that belt, because I don't fancy trying to remove everything and get down to that crank bolt. Is that even connected? Oh yeah, it's just flogged out. Is that slipping the belt though? No, that's rolling. That's the... I thought it might have been slipping the belt and just turning the fan, but no, that's turning it over, which it's not when I don't hold down. If I push down on that belt, that is actually rolling the motor over. I'll tell you one thing though, I think I'm going to go for the throat and just throw a battery at it, because that spark plug has got me spooked. I don't want to try and do everything perfect and then find out, well, it's dropped a valve and there's a valve sitting in that cylinder somewhere. I guess I'd find that out if I'm turning this over, couldn't I? Actually, that's what I'll do. I'll get a torch, I'll get the piston of that cylinder to the top and just see if I can see anything in there. I'm struggling to see the piston, so I'm just going to chuck a zip tie in there, and that way I can see the piston travelling by that zip tie coming towards me. I would imagine the reason I can't see the piston is if that's what the plugs look like, in there will be fairly black as well. Here it comes, it's coming up. Yeah, if the spark plugs are that oily, that's really easy to turn over now. Like, I'm not even putting tension on that belt anymore and it's still turning the motor over, which worries me. Are the rings worn out? Don't overthink it, Mike. Don't overthink it. There is oil everywhere in there. Look how wet that is. If I could hold it still. Stop shaking. Okay, that was a waste of time because I can't see a damn thing. It's too black. I'm going to put a little bit of compressed air in there. If there is something in there, hopefully it'll just come out and hit me in the face. Don't worry about safety glasses, just turn your head the other way. I'm going to chuck a battery in it and just wind on it, see if I can hear anything, because I don't want to waste too much time if I've got, you know, a valve missing. It's been dropped into the cylinder and turned into a noodle. Actually, I don't have one of these fancy batteries. The terminals are not the slip-on version, they're bolt through. Should have thought ahead and got one of them, shouldn't I? Oh geez, don't have to worry about it, can't get the damn thing out. Doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? Nothing looked like it was tampered, but that plug's bent. It's obviously either one, ran with it bent, or two, been, well, and been like that for a long time. Not or, it's and been bent for a hell of a long time. Is it getting hot in here, or am I getting stressed? No, I've got to not overthink it. It didn't look tampered with, so it's not like something's been dropped down the carburetor and ended up in that cylinder. The only thing that could come dislodged would be it dropping a valve, and if there was a valve in there, when I've rolled it over probably at least once, like an entire rotation, nothing stopped it. So don't overthink it, just don't think, just do. Okay, so there's a bracket here I haven't seen. Of course there is, you idiot. Did I say don't think? Maybe do think. I'm taking a guess at what socket that is, because that's looks like a rat nest right on top of that bracket. So we'll have a guess at it. No, that's either wrong. It's either wrong or I'm not on it. Yep, second time lucky. It's a 13 for future reference. And rusted by the feels of that. Oh, that shocks me. Idiot. Here we go. That puts that somewhere special. Now we'll see if it lifts out a little easier. Oh, look at that. So I don't know how long it's sat, but look at the side of that battery. It's swollen, both sides actually. That's when they've been discharged for a long time. They build up what's called sulfate internally and swell up. So she's been sitting a while. I think just for now I'll just clamp them, I think. Yeah, for now. I'll just temporarily forever clamp them. I could drill holes through the terminal, I guess, but that would be a bit excessive. I'll just clamp them. I can already feel this ending really badly. Bonnet falls down, pushes that on guard, whole thing goes up in smoke. Maybe that's the way I'll end it if it has got a bent valve. Burn it. Something clicked. Ah, okay, so these guys have got a fuel cutoff valve in the bottom of those. That means the key's on then. Hang on, better check that. Yep, had the key on so I could steer it when I came up. I'm doing the on so I can steer it when I came off the trailer. I'm very animated today. I'll be animated when this catches fire. What I was saying was, they got a solenoid in the bottom of those carburetors. I can't remember what it was for. It was like a, I think it was an emissions thing, and it cuts off the fuel idle something or other. Anyway, if you know that, put it in the comments, but it's something to do with the idle circuit or something. I can't remember. I remember I had trouble with one. That's it there. Something to do with the idle. I'll remember that at about 3 AM tonight in my sleep, but let's see if we've got dash lights. Oh. Where's the hazards? Oh, there. See if they work. They're already on. She wants to live. She's got back ones. How about front? They all work. Oh, geez, I think we're going to have a few issues here. So it's in park. Got a little light. Oh, what was that? That just flickered. I'm just going to wait for 2 seconds and just make sure we don't have any smoke or anything. That's a bit corroded under there too. See if we've got any smoke in the engine bay. There's plenty of combustibles in here. Cobwebs and burrs. I'm calling that good. I don't see anything nasty. Actually, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just roll it a little bit. Yeah, righto. So she's going to roll. So not only did it roll over, it actually sounded like it rolled over really easy. That sounds like a positive thing, but I don't know if it is. I want to, before I keep winding it over, because I'm going to wind it over heaps and see if the oil light goes out, but that oil's really bad. So what I wouldn't mind doing is, one, disconnect the fuel line. No, I might leave the fuel on. Look, is there anything in the tank? What's going on there? What sort of fuel are they running? Nuclear fuel. Oh, that wasn't even, that's not even a thing. I've smelt worse, but it's obviously got something in it. I've smelt worse though. So as I was going to say, I'll disconnect the fuel line. I won't. I'll only disconnect the line from the pump to the carburetor. Where is it? Oh, there. It's a hard metal line running straight down there. So I'll disconnect that. Maybe run it into a bottle and see what sort of colour we get. The pump is way down there. It's under there. We'll see if it works. I'll give it the opportunity to work before I disconnect it. You know what I want to do? Oh, not breathe that in is what I probably want to do. Maybe put your head further away. No, I want to take that metal line out, cut it in half, route it out here somewhere and put a filter. Because you never know what's in that line or in that tank. I know they will have a filter somewhere. Yeah, there's a filter down there. There's two filters down there. Look at this. Somebody loved on this. I'm starting to notice things. There's a trans cooler. But can you see down there? Probably not. There is a filter there. And there's a smaller line and a filter there. That's the return line to the tank. And that's the delivery line. So they've got a filter in each. Well done, police guys. Well, probably not, but... It's got one of those shitty ETS distributors in it too. Anyway, we'll get to that. For now, I'll get that line off, cut it, put a filter in it. I know there's filters down there, but I want one up here too. That's the wrong spanner. I'm not trying to be negative when I say it, but it seems a bit pointless putting a filter in the return line. Anyway, slowly but surely this stuff is coming back to me from these models. This is a Weber carburetor, and as I said, I've had no luck with these whatsoever. The distributor on these is called an ETS, which is, electronic spark timing, some ridiculous name like that. And that guy was something to do with the idle, it's like an idle stop or something like that. Anyway, it'll all come back to me, like I said, at 3 AM. I'll come out. Ugh. They should have made these things harder to get at. I'm sensing some sarcasm, Michael. Are you? Really? Sensing it? And that's a different size. Of course it is. It would make no sense. I just breathed that in again. It would make no sense having the same size fuel line at the bottom as it does at the top. They've got to be different. Righto. So I'm now going to cut that somewhere and reroute it out here somewhere. I want a filter up here. Righto. I know you're probably thinking, why are you putting a filter there? It didn't have one from factory, but it's been sitting a long time. I don't know what's in that pump, and I don't want it in that carburetor because these carburetors and me are not friends already. So maybe this one can, I don't know, fix that for me. We can become friends. Either way, I'm doing it. Right, I've got my fuel line cut and plumbed up. I'll get a bottle. We wind it with that oil in it. Yeah, I reckon I do. I reckon I wind it with that oil in it, see what's coming out of the tank, then decide drain tank, drain oil. It's black, but it's not. Oh, just got myself. Now I got oil all over my face as well. Doesn't smell like fuel, so I think it's okay at least just to wind it. Let's do that. Just get a bottle and do that. And we'll see what sort of filth fills that bottle. And then I've just got to somehow bend that guy out here, and I'll put the filter out there somewhere. So just keep your eye on that bottle. We'll check the colour of this crap that comes out. Well, we'll see if the fuel pump works. The pump might not even work. We just started then, but I thought it was going to fall over. That's pretty red. I could hear spark too, but I tell you what I couldn't hear, and that's anything banging and clanging in there, which that's a good thing. Can you hear the clicking, the spark? Maybe I should throw them over there somewhere, because I can hear these clicking and sparking, so that might end the episode early. Okay, so here's the downside. I had one of these once before, and that was roughly the color of the fuel, which means it's almost turning to varnish. It doesn't smell that bad, but when you try and burn that, it tends to stick valves. It gums up valves. So in a funny way, I need to drain that tank. I wonder how much is in it. I guess we're going to find out. I'm already second guessing myself. I'm going to test how flammable it is. Just to see if it's got any zest left in it. I was expecting better. It's still got a little zest in it. Okay, slight change of plan. That's a real thing. Stale fuel, when burnt, can actually start sticking valves. It goes gummy when it burns, coats the intake valves, sticks the intake valves. Have had it happen. Well, I'm going to do the opposite. Well, I'm going to attack it with its own theory. That's flash lube. It's the stuff you used to put in cars that were built for leaded fuel but then had unleaded running in them. You added that. It's an upper cylinder lubricant. So I'm going to put a heap of that in it, because I don't think there's much fuel in the tank. I'm going to put a heap of that in it, so hopefully that lubes the valves. I'll probably spray half a can of WD down the carby once it starts running. That's very optimistic of me. Then I'm going to top up the fuel to try and dilute it, because I'm too lazy to drain the fuel, and that's all going to come back to haunt me. But anyway, that's what I'm doing. Now, I'll be brutally honest with you, this is a very, very low percentage play. It's like crossing your fingers and hoping for a good outcome. But in the back of my mind, I've still got that spark plug. So am I just trying to not waste time? Yeah, probably. Dilute the fuel. The theory goes, and I don't know how well I explained it, but this valve saver stuff, it's like a little bit of oil that carries through your fuel, and the fuel obviously passing past the intake valve coats the intake valve so they don't stick. So I'm trying to counteract poor fuel with that and diluting it. The gauge said there was, if it's working, gauge said it was just above empty. So hopefully there's not too much in there. Just to elaborate on that a little more, I don't mean sometimes when you fire up a car that's been sitting for a long time, it sticks valves. I mean, I had this car running. It was the XE wagon is the one it was. I had it running, and it was the next time you tried to start it, like it ran perfectly, and then it would cool down and stick the valves shut. So the next time you went to start it, it would bend intake valves. It would bend push rods. I'll give it a little bit more of a wind, see if I can get some of the diluted fuel up here. Yeah, see, that's not great. Anyway, I'm going to chance it. Plugs back in, let's just wing it. I'm just going to re-gap my old mate very professionally with a screwdriver. Or maybe I'm not. Gapped. Here's a little one for you. I can't get that plug in, can't get my hand down there, so jamming in an old bit of hose, then you can reach right down in there and put him back in. There he goes, just like that. I don't even know what size hose that is. So I'm just doing up plugs, right, and I'm hitting that cable. Remember I said it hadn't been mucked with? Those bolts are not even tight. Like that bracket's just flopping around like it's no man's business. Can you even see that? If I shade that, can you see those bolts there? There and there? Hasn't been mucked with, but that carburetor's not bolted down tight. How does it do that? Unless they had washers. How would the washers get out? I don't know. I'm just going to redirect my fuel line a little. Turns out I have no small clamps, so I'm just going to let that leak. That is going to leak too, but anyway, it's going to have to because I've got no clamps. So now our list is a fancy battery, a bonnet strut, and some 5/16 clamps. Let's put some fuel down and wind it and see what happens. Fresh fuel, of course. Okay, first positive sign I've had that it wants to live, right? Just put some fuel in the bowl, just through that vent tube. That's the accelerator pump, and this is where I had all the trouble with that last one that we're not friends with. But listen, it's got an accelerator pump. That, my friends, is the sound of victory. Yeah, I know, that doesn't mean it's going to fire up or anything, but once you've got an accelerator pump, now I can get in the cab. Oh, I haven't tightened those bolts. Yeah, like I say, gee, they are dead set loose. Like, not even, of course they are. You saw the play in them, dickhead. How do they get like that? But what I'm saying about that accelerator pump, now I can just sit in the cab, give it a pump, and I don't have to stand here with a squirter bottle. So at what point did they come loose? Are they loose? Yes. Remember how I said it hasn't been mucked with? Well, I'm going to now go out on a limb and say yes, it has. It's had the carburetor off it. I hate these carburetors. Did I mention that? Carburetor's been off and they've just put it back together, you know, properly. Air cleaner back on. Fooled Michael. I got lulled into a false sense of security. Alright, carburetor is now tight. Let's see what it does. Got to do something about that. Can you even see that? So it wants to run, but I've got to do something with these. That is just spewing fuel everywhere. I get one backfire and then, you know, the episode ends early. So does that mean I've got to eat my words about these carburetors? I just finished saying how I dislike them and it just fires up like no man's business. I found these little fellas. I hate them, but I found them. If they do the job, then I'll change my vote on them too. I won't hate them anymore. I'll be like, they're mint. Let's try again, see if that leaks now. About to say we've got a hell of an exhaust leak, but that's some sort of bullshit emissions tube that I hate. So I've got to block that off. It's literally sitting there idling. I'll block that off. So we don't have a bent valve, obviously. That is just, I love it when a plan comes together. Get a block for that. I found an old wheel nut. That sounds better. Leave that like that and forget it exists. Did I say those plugs looked a little oily? Well, that gauge was obviously right because I topped that up, and look, it's showing a fair bit now. I better check if it's got some water in it. I didn't even look in that radiator. No. Water's a good idea. It's obviously got a leak because it's taken heaps. I guess we'll find that out, huh? Maybe if I didn't put water everywhere, I'd be able to see if there was a leak. Even got power steering fluid. Let's see if it works. Oh, power steering works. Wonder if it'll move. Something was definitely stuck back there. Oop. Okay, so the shifter needs adjusting. Just put it in park and we're still in reverse. Something went bang back here in that brake. I think we ignore it and just drive it. That's the only thing at this point that concerns me. If I'm going to drive it, I'm going to have to do something with this arrangement. That one will be fine. That one, not so much. That seems fine. Gee, that carpet looks nice and bright. Now that the sun's hit it, it's very, very psychedelic. Anyhow, let's drive this terrible thing. Temp's working. That brake is dragging something terrible. Keep an eye on that temp, I suppose. It's already half gauge. Listen to that brake. Is it the handbrake? Listen to it. Oh, yuck. But I like the rest of it. I can smell something burning though. Do I make it? Yep, just made it. Yeah, I can definitely smell something burning. Be a short drive. speedo doesn't work, so I'm assuming the odometer doesn't either. It sounded a little bit warm, it sounded like it was bubbling, but maybe the thermostat just didn't open. It's definitely not warm, I can cook it. Maybe the thermostat's now open and it wasn't, because I could hear it when I pulled up and turned it off. I could hear it sort of bubbling. It's not hot though, the temp gauge says it's not hot. I can put my finger in that radiator, which is exactly what you want to do if you think it's hot. That's a good start. Like if you look at the gauge started moving about halfway through that drive. And it's right on half, which you'd assume that's probably where it sits when it's at the right temperature. Can you even see that? Anyway, I'll switch him off. See if I can still hear it. It's not hot, but it's... See, I can still feel that bubbling a little bit, but yet it's telling me it's not hot. Like, I don't get that. Maybe it's still a little restricted in its flow. Oh, here we go. Something's going on. See, there it is, I can hear it again. Where's all the steam coming from? That's sort of indicating there's a leak. Anyway, let's ignore that for a bit. I do love it when they come back like that for obvious reasons, but the less obvious reason is when they come back like that, I get so much more time to do everything else. So I've already got our list. Bonnet strut, although it just worked. One of those fancy batteries with the crazy terminals with the holes in them. A mirror cover. A left-hand tail light. The tail light's broken. Obviously oil and filter, which I might even have a filter here. It's only an old Z9. I'll put a question mark over the radiator. I'll see if it leaks. But that steam coming out sort of indicates that there wouldn't be steam coming out of it if it didn't have a hole of some description, but I can't see any water. And list of things to do. We've got to get the park shifter, park lever. It's not engaging properly. I literally went to get out of it then. It was still in reverse and it's up as far as it'll go. I've got it in now, but it's not right. And that rear brake, every time you stop it, it clunks when you go to let go, so there's something going on there. Maybe a stuck handbrake cable or something. Anyway, that's a good start. I feel like it's beer time, but it's not. It's nowhere near beer time. So the rest of the day, I reckon we start stripping bits out of it. Get the carpet, seats out of it, carpet out of it. These molds can all come off, the mud flaps, the roof racks. Stop talking. Let's just get into that. It's only early. Let's go. I guess we'll start with the molds and the mud flaps, and somebody's decided the double-sided tape wasn't enough to hold these molds on. put Phillips head screws straight through the guard. Anyway, lucky it's going to be patinaed. I don't think there's going to be much paint left on this. Actually, look at the front of me, it's white from when I've been leaning over the car. It's all just rubbing off. We'll get to that. I'll get it stripped to a point. Oh, that's, did I say fuel cap? I want another lockable fuel cap because that one, it's the wrong key. Didn't even take any paint off. That was unexpected. Excellent. Trying to pull down so that you're not pulling out and just pulling paint with it. If you're sort of twisting it down, you've got a better chance of not taking paint off. These weren't coming off, were they? It's a strange thought process, isn't it? I need to protect my car as I ram a screw straight through the quarter panel. Across the tailgate too. I think I'm getting a cordless drill. Do you not see the irony in that? A protection mold, and that's what it's done. God damn it. Top protecting of your car. Geez, I might be putting them back on. I'd say Sarge has been through some different stages of life. The police van, then the college campus type of stickers on the screen, and it screams tradie with the roof racks and tow bar and all the protection stuff. But anyway, we'll see if we can't give him another stage of life. This is excellent. Why would the front bolts be different to the back bolts? I ask you that. I get that one because it's a seatbelt bolt, but why is that a different size? Definitely a different size. There. Get a go at this. Every single bolt was different size. That's what I used to get these seats out. The one that had the seat belt attached was a 19. I had a 16 in this corner, a 15 in that corner, and up the front was 14s and 13s. You can't make that shit up. That's impressive. I bet you it was a bench originally with the column automatic. I reckon it was a bench seat. And then they've put these buckets, although that does match the trim. Did they come out with a column automatic two-seater? I don't know. Anyway, so I just answered my own question. Seats. That is a two-seater. Option 36. What's that? So 88 factory buckets, automatic on the column, air and steer. There you go. There's probably 1 in 10 trillion, but anyhow, factory buckets. Who would have thunk it? Not me, that's for sure. It's probably extremely common. I just wouldn't have thought so. Being a column automatic, I just assumed it would have a bench seat, you know. You know, I'll be happy if this floor isn't completely rotted. I'll take a little bit of rot, but if there's any floor left at all, I'll be happy. That mold is impressive. Not mold, moss. That's moss. That's really good. Do I need that kick trim out? That kick trim's half out already. Somebody's already half done the job for me. There must be another one. There's one there, is there? Oh no! My heart always sinks when I see underlay because it traps moisture. We have a very high chance of no floor pan. Anyway, I'll get that trim off and we'll see what's under here. So this one's posed me a bit of a problem. The head was stripped, so I've got a grinder. I just cut a slot into it. There we go. Last one. We'll get this carpet out and then feel the sinking misery of rust holes all through the floor. Ready for that sinking feeling of misery. And it's not that bad.
It's actually not. For what everything else.
So there's a tiny hole there and a bit of surfacey stuff across there, but to be honest, I reckon I've dodged a bullet. That is not that bad. I really thought that'd be worse with all that underlay. Righto. So now we'll get bumper off, rear carpet out, and just give it a wash. Just rip in. Oh, door trim's off because I've got to fix the handle on that side. So trim's off, bar off, terrible carpet out, and start pressure cleaning. That's it for today. It's beer time. I did get a little bit of help there at the end too. My young fella came down and wanted to pitch in, so we got all the moulds off, cleaned up the panels. Well, cleaned up where the moulds were. We haven't cleaned up any panels yet, but all the carpets out, the interior's out. I've got to add that to the list. I need either carpet or rubber floor mat. I'll probably go rubber actually in this one, a little bit industrial. But I went up and found these wheels that I've had in my other shed for God knows how long, and that's sort of the style I want to go. Sort of paying homage to that early 80s van era, although I was only a baby, but you see the photos of some of the vans with murals and, you know, massive front tyres and even bigger back tyres and low and just fat and in your face sort of stuff. I kind of wish it was a bit more of a in your face psychedelic colour, but anyway, we might be able to do something with that maybe if I get time. And I mean, that's going back to what I was saying about, I do love it when they just come back around like that. That pretty much got itself going. It sounds good. We might have a radiator issue, I'm not sure yet, but that does give me a lot of time just to get into everything else. So first thing in the morning, it's pressure clean this thing within an inch of its life. We've got, as I say, seats and carpet are out, so I'll get inside it, I'll get in the back and just scrub it, Scotch-Brite the paint, all of it, everything, and just get back to bare and see what we've got, see what we can start with. No use talking about it if I don't write it down. So what to say, rubber floor or carpet, lowering kit. Initially I was going to pull that front bumper bar off. I wanted to paint it white, but I don't know now. I don't think I'll do it all white. I think I kind of like the black bumperettes at the back, and so I think I want some black up the front. So maybe I'll just mask a section in and paint a section white or something. Anyway, there's a fair list there, so I'll see you in the morning for some pressure cleaning, a lot of pressure cleaning. So this morning I've got a couple of parts here already. I've got our funky terminal battery, so I can get rid of that evil, and chuck that bonnet prop on just so that we can get it washing under here without it coming down on my melon. I'm fitting this battery, but I'm looking at that master cylinder going, that's pretty low. As a magpie nearly takes my head off. Maybe that's why we've got that clunking in the back. Maybe we've got a rear brake shoe saturated in fluid. Because that can make them sticky. If they're saturated in fluid, they can be a bit sticky and be sticking to the inside of that drum. That would explain our clunking every time I try to go forward or back. Making a meal of this. Never see that again. Don't need to. It's still a fairly, it's a decent colour. Caught that front one at the nick of time, but it's still got a bit of a green tinge to it, so it'll be okay. I'll just top it off. The funny bit about that master is I can't tell whether it was the front or the rear leaking, because there's no real centre divider separating the front from the rear. There is, but it's got a slot down the side of it so it can balance. So I guess we'll find out the hard way. I'm going to take a shot and say it's, of course, it's the right hand rear, because that's the one clunking. This is the moment of truth. Did it stick valves after burning a bit of that terrible fuel? No clunking. Generally, if it's stuck valves, you hear the valve train. Have we lost our accelerator pump? No, we got it. Didn't miss a wire, did I? Have done it before. She's gonna go. Come on. Change of plan. I'm going to vacuum that out first. This is a very dad thing to say, but I don't want all those burrs pressure cleaned out into my amazing yard. Winter's yellowing my grass off doesn't mean I want to cultivate all those burrs, so I'll give it a quick vacuum out first. So all I'm going to do is go around it with maroon Scotch-Brite, and if there's any patches that need it, 1500 wet and dry sandpaper. And when I say patches that need it, I don't think this is going to fare very well. I'd say that's Scotch-Brite only, but down the sides the paint actually doesn't look that bad. It just looks oxidized, so I'll probably hit that with the 1500, maybe try and buff it back up, but we'll see. I don't think a lot of that's going to stay on there. It's had a lot of paint work. The front, you can see down here, there's a primer edge there that's still see-through, so they've put primer through this area, maybe even painted the whole quarter. That's all primer showing through there. So this could look drastically different when I finish cleaning it. It might not have as much white on it as it has right now. I'll just test it. I'll grab the pressure cleaner and just test if that's going to blow off. Little bits are going to come off. Geez, there's not going to be much white paint left on that bonnet. What about down here? Yeah, might be right. It's like that moss is eaten into the paint, where the moss is pulling the paint with it. Oh well, I'll stop talking, I'll get stuck into it and see what I'm left with. So that was essentially all day pressure cleaning, inside, outside. Underneath, I could probably still do more with. I haven't really finished underneath, but I've run out of day. I've run out of time, run out of daylight. Inside hasn't come up that bad. I don't really have any rust repairs to do, just some rust converting and a tiny little pinhole in that one. But scrubbed the dash, pressure clean in the back. A lot of the paint blew off, I will add, but we could probably repaint that. The whole time on the outside I was thinking, what am I actually going to do with this paint? It's not patina. Okay, so it's had a respray at some stage. You can see the primer. Where's a better example? Okay, say here, there's the original colour. They've actually painted it with the moulds on. You can see the primer edge and it's a bit transparent. This sort of thing, I don't know, is that wiping something on? Maybe Prepsol. Another wipe sort of mark there. And then of course the moss. I would have thought moss would bring paint off, but anyway, the moss is eaten into the paint, and that's probably what most of this is. So it's not patina, it's just shithouse, but I'm going to work with it just the same. She's all peeled there where the fill ran down. Anyhow, it's clean. I guess what I'm saying is you just watched it go from a piece of garbage to a clean piece of garbage. Anyway, and I've got a bit of a theory on the Granville College TAFE stickers. I found this in the center console, you know, on that little console thing there, just in there. So someone, whoop, dropped it. Someone enjoyed their woodwork. Do you love working with wood? Well, that got weird, but anyway, somebody was into woodwork anyway. So if you were the woodwork teacher or the maintenance guy at Granville TAFE from 2000-2005, do I have your van? Anyway, I did buy a few other bits and pieces too. I have bought some shocks for the front to go right down, blocks for the back. I bought some rubber floor mat for when the interior goes back in, and the seats actually come up really good. Anyway, plenty to do. We'll get into the fun bits tomorrow, so I'll see you in the morning. So first thing this morning, I want to get the wheels on the car, so then we can start working out how much we need to bring this thing down. I don't know exactly how much we're working with here, but I know it's a lot. It's even more than it now it's jacked up, but I'm talking like 100mm gap from the tyre to the wheel arch. the looks of that, she's had some aftermarket springs and shocks in it. They're a pretty heavy looking spring. Yep, it's a lot. Like a hell of a lot. This is also the one with the brake that keeps locking on, so we'll figure that out while we're on the hoist, getting it down. The wheel sword doesn't look like it's been leaking. That doesn't mean it isn't, but it doesn't look like it's leaking. Maybe just a stuck handbrake. That brake's stuck on again now. We've got plenty to work with. These models do love swallowing up a bit of tyre though. That's a 265 50 15, and I'm not even going to have to roll that guard. How we do the leaf spring, and I've got an inch to the leaf spring on there. Cool, we're back to square one then. It might be, she's not real happy. She's not real happy. Has been asleep for a long time. One cylinder down. Let's figure out which one it is before we go anywhere. I just want to run around the yard and settle that spring back in after being jacked up so I can get an accurate measurement of how much we need to take off. It's cylinder 4. Cylinder 4 is the one not awake. Which one did we get the bodgy plug out of? Can you remember? There's something else we can do, put the seats back in. We have an enormous amount of room to move. That can't be right, 140 mils. Wow. Yeah, yep. 135 with the old tyre, so that tyre's clearly a little bit shy in the height. That is enormous. I could almost say it's actually over, it's more like 145 mils. Wow. And 100 on the dot. So that's still crazy. I think we start with the back first. I dead set can't get over that gap. I'll go back and watch the old XE wagon video because I think it was something similar. I don't think it was quite that high, but that could also be magnified by that little bit smaller tyre. 225/50, yeah, I think I had a 225/60 on the XE wagon. So we might not be able to get this one low enough in the front to fit that tyre, but we'll get it down anyway. I guess I'll think of it like this. That's what I have. That rim and tyre, that's what I've had. I've had them sitting in the other shed for God knows. What's the worst case? I get the tyre about here, I get the wheel arch about here and put a different tyre on it. That's the worst case scenario. Not a bad case. I'm going to heat everything up. Get everything nice and hot so I burn myself. I think that's the right socket, they're just really rusty. And we'll talk about lowering blocks. Obviously I'm going to use a block here, and the block goes between the axle or the diff housing there and the leaf spring. It doesn't actually change where the leaf spring sits or the height of the leaf spring. It just puts the axle closer to the body, which in turn lowers it. Contrary to popular belief, a lowering block is not illegal. It's the result of the block that's illegal. Let me explain. You can go legally, and I'm talking about here in Australia. In the States, they're like, what are you talking about? Legalities, whatever. No, but here in Australia, we've got some pretty stringent modification guidelines. And you can lower your car 50 millimeters. So a 50 millimeter block is legal, as long as no lower point of the vehicle becomes closer than 100 millimeters to the road. So for instance, you put your block in there, pushes the axle up, which in turn brings all this down. If this section is now within 100 mil, that's illegal. You with me? So the block itself under 50 mils is not illegal. And a 50 mil block is exactly what we're going to use. Anyway, just gonna undo that shock to make it easier. She's had new shocks in her. And we'll knock off both, I don't know, what do you want to call them? Shock pads, U-bolt pads, whatever you want to call them. We're going to knock them both off, both sides, just to make the diff a little bit easier to lift. If I can get it on there. So we'll talk about shocks for a second. The standard shocks at the rear are going to be okay because this section and this leaf don't change position. You're lowering by putting the block above the leaf spring, pushing the axle up. So that shock is going to stay in the same position, but that's not the case up front. But we'll get to that. You've got to use a lowered shock. But that one will be fine, especially because they've been replaced. XLG. Sounds amazing. And what will come with your U-bolt and block kit will be longer U-bolts, so that when the diff goes up with the block in there, you've got more thread. Let's do that. I've undone both of them just so it's easier to lift the diff up like this. Ignore the spiders and lift the diff up like that and put your block in. And so now we lift the diff and put my 50 mil block, and you can tell it's 50 mil because it says it on it. Oh, I can't do it that way. There you have it. What's going on there? What's going on? That'll squeeze it down. Maybe I need to give that a clean. I might have to give that pad a clean, I think. Bit of a wire wheel. That's better. And I will tell you, these U-bolts never fit well. Ever, ever, ever. Please prove me wrong. Nope. Oh Oh, not too bad. You just had to squeeze it together, but they always seem like they need a little bit of caressing. There we go. And yes, obviously we're going to have to cut these off, for they are going to be well within 100mm of the roadway. That can also be determined by your tyre size, but then there's other guidelines about tyres. Where does it end? I don't know. From memory, last time doing these up, I had to have 2 goes at it. Get a deep socket, whiz them up, cut them off, and then whiz them up again. We'll see. So I've got them to there, and I'm going to have to cut them off because they're not even close to being done up. There's a gap there, and I've just got them pulled together into the right spot by a clamp. So I'll nip these off, whiz them up again. Here's my little disclaimer. If you've got something with a bit of power, you know, a 351 or something like that you want to run down a drag strip, stay away from lowering blocks. Essentially what you've done there is when your tyre's rotating forward under excessive load, like you dump the clutch, this spring is going to try and go from that to that. Well, you've just added a lever to give it more leverage. So you're going to magnify leaf spring wrap. So I'm not saying I know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying if you've got some power, stay away from them. These are for cruisers. So I'll nip them down fully, cut them off again, so there's not excess hanging down, and we're done. Probably another thing I'd say is drive it for a couple of kilometres, maybe, I don't know, a day, and do this again. Just pull them down one more time, just in case that aluminium's settling in on that bump that I had to clean off, that locator lug, if you will. If you're really worried about them coming loose, just get a hammer and tap the very edge of one thread. Yes, it damages the thread, which means it can never come off. If you ever need it off, you just polish it back up with the grinder, and you know they're not going to fall off. Ask me how I know. Ask me. Yep. Why is this car driving funny? Get out, look, and they're just about off, and the diff's like... Anyway. Kids being kids. The other thing I'm looking at while I'm under here is this handbrake. The cable's moving free, so I don't think it's it, but geez, it seems tight. I'm going to back it off a fraction, just up here on the adjuster. Just here, just to give it a bit more play until I figure out what's going on with that, that's not it. Till I figure out what's going on with it. Or what's going on with that drum. Won't hurt to just put a little bit of slack in it. All that's doing is adjusting that nut back that direction, which takes pressure off the cable. You'll see a gap there now, and then you just wind that one down onto it. Even that little bit of slack just takes out the fact of, is that the handbrake jamming that drum on? We'll get to that in a minute. Let's get to the front. I'm going to tell you, while I'm under here, I'm just looking. It's not clean, but it's not beat up. The floors are not dented and not rusty. It seems okay. Even the inner sills, they're good. That one, it seems pretty good. Right, let's stop talking and get into it. I don't suppose I need these anymore. I'll knock him out of park and just see if that is the only brake sticking. We'll see if this one rotates. Maybe do this one while I'm going, I guess. This one really was the arachnid home, wasn't it? The grass has grown up through the caliper and out the top. Well, that one spins pretty easy. That looks pretty new. I wonder if you did have a bit of work prior to getting parked up. It's got a couple of new nuts here as well. Look at this. That bearing cup looks pretty new. That disc isn't really even surface rusty there. But that's a non-castellated nut, so it's a nylock nut with a grease nibble, so that's been replaced. That's not factory. That's what the factory one would look like. So the castellated nut. So it's had a couple little bits and pieces. That looks nolothane there. She might have had a little bit of maintenance, and like I said, it's got a different set of shocks up the front as well. They don't look that old. Goodo, let's get into it. So no surprises there. The other one rotated easy, but this is the one that keeps clunking every time I go to move the car. Alright, let's try to get this drum off. She just wants to come back to life, this one. That's popping off. Haven't even hit it. What do we find though? What do we find? So that came out, and that's half of a spring. That looks like the other half there. It's like part of the self-adjuster or something, I think. I'll have to knock the other one apart. There's a bit of moisture there though. I think we've got a leaking wheel cylinder. Oh yeah, look at the moisture on that. Remember I was saying when the brake fluid gets on the shoes, they can become sticky? Well, that's exactly what's happened. So I'll adjust that guy in a bit. Just for now, we'll order a wheel cylinder, put it back together and completely ignore it for a little while. Am I going out or in? I'm going out. I think that's actually what that spring does. It pulls that back together because there's no tension on that at all now. Is that broken off? I'm going to have to pull the other drum off just to see where that part is supposed to be. Hooked in that somehow and located in that some. Oh, that's the actual adjuster. That goes, sits on there and adjusts it, hinges in that hole there. All we're missing is a spring. I just need a spring. Cool, righto. Okay, so I've just broke 1,000 rules in welding spring steel. You can't weld spring steel, Mike. Yeah, I just did. But anyway, I need that as a temporary measure to go back in there to hold those pads in, because I think that's what's actually broke it. This pad, or one of these pads, is actually stuck to the drum and pulled the spring apart down the bottom, pulled it apart that hard that it snapped it. So I'm going to back that adjuster right off. As you can see, it's already adjusted right off. Put that guy back in there, connect that guy up, and my completely temporary permanent fix will stay in there. I am going to order a wheel cylinder because it's leaking, and the pads, but I need to keep them away from the drum if I'm going to, use this. I might even actually rub a little bit of WD or grease or something on the pad just so it doesn't grab until I can get that wheel cylinder out. But for now, I'll get that spring in. No prizes for guessing what that spring is. Just welded it. What do you think it is? Righto, I'm going to get some pliers. That'll stop it grabbing again at least till I get a wheel cylinder. You lads from the 80s and 90s, you'd be used to backing off your right hand brake, wouldn't you? You know, ducking out the old Sale Yards road on a Saturday night. Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. That already looks cooler. And we don't even have it on the ground yet, so hopefully that'll make a big difference. Let's get it up here. We'll get him down a bit. Get that spring out and that shock out. Actually, just while I've got it up here, I just want to have a quick look at that park lever there. If you remember, it wasn't going into park properly. And it has got a little bit of a transmission pan gasket leak too, but look at that. So we might have to just check the trans fluid as well. But yeah, not going into park, so that nut right there at the front of my light, I'm just going to back that off and adjust that down ever so slightly to put it into park a bit better. Oh, is that... That's, see the orange RTV around that shifter? I'll guarantee you that shifter linkage is our leak. Anyway, I'll just adjust that and we'll get one thing out of the way first. So all I've done was back off that nut there, push that lever back up, which essentially is forcing this lever down into park harder. So hopefully we'll get our gears a little bit easier. I was just struggling to get park. It was just staying in reverse. But anyway, see how that goes. Onto the spring. So I'm just going to undo, I guess you'd call that the shock tower. This little bracket here, I'm going to undo those guys. And then I'm going to undo the shock out of here and just lift him out through the top. And then we can get this spring out without having to undo, you know, any suspension components or anything like that. We'll just compress this guy up. I might have to take that cover off. From previous experience, I've knocked that cover off. It's made it a lot easier. But we'll get the shock out first, then worry about that cover. Oh, I nearly lost him. So undone the shock from down here. See the thread there? And out it comes. See out it comes. So why am I replacing front shocks and not rear shocks? Well, that's a good guide there. Like I said with the rear ones, you're not actually changing the position of the rear shocks, and I'll show you again. If you see the leaf spring and the leaf pad, I guess you'd call it, has not changed. So that length of that shock hasn't had to change. All you've done is space the axle up, which has created the axle higher in the body, which has made the car lower. But on the front, it's not the same. So you see there's quite a significant difference in just this section here. What would that be? Maybe 50 mil? So if you cut the standard spring, this shock piston might be about there, but if you cut it, it'll be traveling down here and it won't have enough room to operate correctly. Whereas this guy, it's actually taken it off the top, so the piston will still have room to travel correctly. So that guy's going to operate perfectly. With a shorter spring, that guy is going to struggle. The lower the spring, the deeper that piston will travel into that cylinder, and the more likely you are to just bottom the shock out and have it not acting like a shock anymore. I just removed that, what is that, overflow bottle, just so I can get to these bolts better. Just heard one hit the floor, that's not a good sign. So all these bolts are out, and that allows me to remove the bump stop spring cover thingy I tried to name before. That's what we're getting access to, so we can compress that spring out and start giving him a trim. Spring compressors would have to be my absolute least favourite tool, but here we are working with spring compressors. You just got to have your wits about you and just keep your eyes on these little feet, that they're not working their way off the spring. I'm just going to pull these guys down gently with a ratchet rather than the rattle gun. don't think I actually need to compress them that far really at all. Yeah, this one's starting to come off the saddle already, so I won't have to go too far. I'll have to go even less on the way back in. I totally get if you're not confident with working with spring compressors. I hate them. Hate them with passion actually. But they're a necessary evil. And here comes one. That's why I hate them. I've got half a mind to cut these so short that I don't need compressors going back in. I'm not going to, but I did think about it. Alright, the spring's just about off the perch there. It's off this side. I've only got to leave it off that back side. If I can do that without losing the spring into my nostrils, that would be good. Right, I got him up a little. Here's the nerve-wracking bit though. Let's say you're doing everything right. Spring falls off, hits the floor. One of these comes off, becomes a missile. That's why I hate them. You can be doing everything right, be very cautious, and then all of a sudden one's on the ground, hurtling towards you like an absolute utter weapon. Certain places you don't want to put your face and your fingers. Well, I got them out, but I've never had that much trouble nor anxiety pulling factory XF or XE springs out before, and I'm starting to think maybe not factory, because they're a very heavy looking spring. And what's with the paint down them? Orange and lavender down both of them. Anyway, let's cut them and put them back in. I went back and had a quick look at the XE video from ages and ages ago to see exactly what I took off it, because I think this one will sit fairly similar. I took a coil and a half, so that would be one coil right to there. I'll cut him off first. Then we'll go back and take a half. Just because I don't think I'll get my wheel in between that one there, so if I nick him off there, and then I'll go around and get a half later. So after I cut them, cut exactly one coil and then a half off both coils. But look at them closely. Got the same lavender and orange on them, but look at them. If I line them up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and my coil and a half off is down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. My coil and a half is over here. They're different springs. Different spring rate, different coil rate. Maybe to carry a driver permanently, you know what I mean? Like a cop vehicle has a driver constantly allow 100 kilos for an occupant. So they've put a heavier driver's side spring in. That was definitely out of the driver's side, I might add. That's the one that fought me, and I'll be honest with you, one of those clamps slipped off and I fought with it. So now I'm going to have to guess at it. I'm just going to line them up and I'm going to trim them back to the same spot and hope that the different coil rate doesn't make them sit at a different height. So we could now be going a lot lower than what we thought. Anyway, I'll put them back in. If it doesn't sit flat, I'll keep trimming one till it matches the other. I wish that was the longer one. It's not. Anyhow, alright, I've cut it again, but I've made my peace with it. I got nothing to lose. Essentially, if I put them in, they're not right, I'll just order springs. I've got to get pads anyway, and it's not that big a deal to get them back out, so let's just chuck them in and see what happens. They're a lot less violent going in, that's for certain. Right, I'll back them off. I've got to be honest, they were singly the worst springs I've ever had to pull out. They can't be standard. Like, I mean, look at the gap we had, 145 mil. They're marked with paint. One side's different to the other. Something reeks of, it was done for a purpose. But anyway, they were the toughest set I've ever got to get out, and the most nervous I've been with those stupid spring compressors. But anyway, that one's back in. We'll chuck this other one in. Somebody a lot smarter than me has obviously worked out the spring rate and put that spring in there, or put these front springs in there knowing that it had a permanent driver or a constant driver, so extra weight constantly, but it's still going to have that. It's just shorter. So I'm not going to overthink it. I already have, actually, but I'm not going to think it from now. Let's get the wheels on it, get it down, bounce it, settle them in, see what it looks like, see how disappointing it is. So what are we predicting? I'd like to see 70 mil difference front and rear. Keep going, keep going. I think the hoist just come away then. Let's roll him out, try and settle the suspension in, because as you're dropping it, the suspension, think of it this way, it's drooped like that, and as it hits the ground it can't spread properly. So if I roll it out, hopefully we'll, actually you can even see it. You can see what I'm saying, check this out. Like, look at the sidewall of that tyre trying to tuck under. That's because the wheel's been sitting like that, it's hit the ground but it can't level out. So we'll roll him out and see what we've got. But I already like the back. I'm liking that already. I'll jump on it a few times and see if we can't squat it a bit further. You know what, at first glance, I'm alright with that. The front's not too low, it's low, but it's not too low. The sill's fairly parallel. I'll get a tape, we'll check it. Actually, I'll put it back on the concrete and then check it. Just so I'm on a level playing field. The ground might be upsetting it, but if we're not lopsided left to right, I'm not doing anything more with that. That can just stay like it is and settle in. So what did we end up with? 30 mil top of the tyre to the wheel arch. So how'd we get 70 mil out of a 50 mil kit? I don't know. Maybe they sent me the wrong kit. Maybe. And 65 mil. That's 80 mils. I think because we started at such a high ride height, that seems massively significant, but I actually don't think that's that low. Still got decent clearance to the tyre, still got good clearance to the sill. I think we just started let's forget that exists. We just started somewhere ridiculous. Now it's not. And difference side to side, 5 mils if that. So I'm not arguing with that. We'll just put the spring covers and bump stops back on, shocks in, and just move on to something else. Let's go. So my shocks in the bottom, covers back on, but my shocks are that short that I'm actually going to have to drop it back down on its wheels to have the shock come up high enough to put the pedestals on. So I wonder if it had aftermarket shocks in it because it was raised in factory. What did they have planned with the old girl? Where were they going? With 145 millimeters of guard clearance, I'd say anywhere is where they were going. Anywhere they bloody wanted. That's four-wheel drive type of shit. Just wonder I didn't see Leyland Brothers on the friggin' Rego handbook thing. Previous owner, Mike and Mal. Taking it anywhere. Can you put the seats in now and drive it? So we might finish the day with doing some little odd jobs. I've got a door handle, a tail light, we can do that. So right, one, that's a good start. Righto, well, I might get him out because we'll get that door open, get that handle in, and then put that way too new looking tail light in. I'm a little bit interested to see if there's a cavity up here in the quarter panel, if I can get that out as well, or try to get it out. That'd be cool. I'll set the screw. If not, you go inside the van, there is a big removal, like an inspection plate. I have to pull that out and then maybe try and pop it out. I was just hoping to be lazy. Let's get this light out of the way and I might actually be able to get that. Oh, you're going to have to get parallel to see this. If it pops out, I'm going to be so pumped. Oh, it's going to take some pushing. No, I'm going to have to get it from inside. Well, I've got a Phillips head, I may as well do it now. Here's what I'm saying. There's a panel there. If I can get that out, I'll get my foot up underneath it and give it a shove. Now we're in business. I think I'm going to take my boots off though. Get my foot in there. Get it? One more there. Another one there. Another shove there. It's better. Oh, mint. Little one there. One up there. I'm going to call it good. Actually, we'll get one more there. Up here, see that one there? got our foot panel beaten on. There's a big one there, so I might get my foot in behind that one as well. That one came out mint. For a fleeting moment there, as I shut that door, I wondered, will that reopen from the inside? But anyway, could have climbed through, I guess. Geez, now we're all about cosmetics. Lights that fit and look good. Dents. They're fixed. Geez, that tail light looks out of place. This thing is like the pin-up boy for, it ain't got to be pretty, it's just got to run, but then your brand new tail light. Oh geez, did I just scratch it? I think I did. Perfect. Way too perfect, really. To match my brand new tail light, a brand new door handle. These didn't work from factory. Brand new, out of the factory, didn't work. Yeah, I know, I'm exaggerating a little, but not much. If you owned one, you know. How the hell does that go in there? Got to go the other way. Hang on. I ordered a left front. That is a right front. Look. Oh. Right hand. Wrong handle. That sucks a bit, but I can do other stuff. I'm going to fish oil inside these doors and get ready for trims back on. I can't do this one till I get the handle, but I can put the trim on the other one. We can rust convert the patches in the floor, then get some rubber matting in tomorrow. Seats. This will be the only door I can't do anything with. I can't even try and fix the old one with the new handles. The arms are facing the wrong direction. The arms are facing the wrong direction. It's nearly beer time, for God's sake. Anyway, I'm just gonna have to wait, is my point. I'll drive it with one door handle if I have to. I'll just put the other one in. Put the broken one in and just go solo. See if I can free up a few of these mechanisms too. The window winder was stiff. That lock was stiff. Mint. Oh. Slowly but surely work on him and just WD up your mechanism, get them going again. See what that handle's doing now. Probably braking. It's mint. Beauty. What else? Back door, I reckon. Oh, mint. Got some pretty important bits done today with the ride height and that sort of thing. Little odds and ends, but still parts to get, like the brake shoes, the wheel cylinder, another door handle. Anyway, still a good day. It's getting somewhere. I'm not sure where this one's going. It's not patina, I get that, so I'm not clear coating it. It's definitely not factory, you know, patinaed paint. This has just been through some shit. This thing's been somebody's work vehicle. you know, after the cops had it, of course, but the roof racks and that sort of thing. This thing worked hard at some stage, and it looks like it has. It's been through some shit. Like I said before, this is not, you know, factory paint weathering. That's just a bad respray. Someone's done a cheap repaint on it, but it's just all peeling off. Maybe freshen up a little bit of the black on the bumpers tomorrow. Interior in. Anyway, I'll see you in the morning. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm out of time. I looked at the forecast last night and we got rain for 3 days. I'm still waiting on a handle, but I came down last night when I looked at the forecast and I actually put the interior in. Well, what's left of the interior and the new handle, I put it in this side. We've got the door trim in, and I say door trim because I couldn't be bothered putting that one on because that handle's got to come back out. But the seats are in, and apparently it leaks. But I'm going to ignore that because we're just out of time. We're still waiting on brake pads and a wheel cylinder. And of course that door handle. I'm not bitter about that, hence why I keep going on about it. But there's one more thing I want to do, is recolor that mirror cover, because we don't have one here. Maybe put some wipers on it. I think I'm going to need it, but then we're just going to drive it. I'm out of time. Right or wrong, this bugs me, so I've got to fix this. Yeah, I know, it's just how my brain works. All that's okay, but that bugs me. Whatever. Maybe if you use a can that wasn't basically empty too, Michael. Whatever. I wasn't going for a semi-gloss finish, but I'm getting it because of the shit cans. Mint. Actually, I just thought of something I want to do. I said this one's the pin-up boy for It Ain't Gotta Be Pretty. Perfect conditions for painting. So these are the man cave or shed signs that we had made up for our online store. I think the intention was exactly this, to use it as a stencil on the Patina F100, but let's do it now. Speaking of the Patina F100, this is some rusty brown that came off the F100. Let's face it, the shitter it looks, the better. That'll do me. Overspray and all. Nope, I lied. I can't deal with the overspray because it has to look perfect. Probably going to make it worse. Yep, making it worse. I really am. I actually am making it worse. There we have. Good enough. Wipers, tyre shine, we're out of here. Yes, you do have to have tyre shine. my speedo's not working. I've got a fuel gauge and that's about it. Alright, we'll see how we go. Well, my demister's not working, but the brakes feel okay. That's probably a little more important. All three of them. Speedo just come alive. Speedo is now working. Sergeant's just getting better and better. This thing is good. Bit open road. I think it's starting to foul a plug. I can just feel it start to miss a little bit. I think it's fouling a plug, so I'm going to do what the old guys used to do and give it a good run. I'll stretch his legs a bit. The speedo is now stuck at 60. There is no way I'm still doing 60. Anyway, we might hit a little back road. Just getting better and better. Now not only is the demister and the fan working, the heater's working. I'm literally defrosting. As much as I cut those heavy front springs, it actually rides pretty good. Those lowered front shocks I guess help with that, but it drives pretty good. About 10 minutes in and everything starts to settle in. The temp's settling in, you can see the thermostat opening, and finally the speedo's decided to go past 60. Perfect day for a drive in the country. And a causeway. Good on you, Sarge. And yeah, I know, this thing is uglier than morning sunlight after a 3-day bender, but you know what? From a paddock to where it is now, it doesn't care. I reckon Sarge hasn't had this much fun since the 1989 Parramatta Police Station Christmas party. Still a few issues to sort out: door handle, wheel cylinder, brake shoes, so this won't be the last you'll see of Sarge. I don't know what it is about him, but I really like him. Like a sick puppy you just got to do something with. But anyway, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.